Good afternoon. Happy Halloween to you. How are you? I've decided I have two looks. Either I look like I'm homeless or I look like I'm going to a hair show. Touched up some roots today, trying to cover some of the gray, trying to change the color in itself. I know, very superficial, the things that I don't like, but sometimes I feel bad. I get on these rants and I come on, video or live or whatever, and I look like I'm homeless. But today I have myself together. I'm making some pulled pork. I want to talk a little bit about barbecue, and then I'm going to try to get out the door. I'm off today, I'm off tomorrow, and then going to the gig on Sunday. But I'm Kitryn Marie, an artist, writer, speaker, life and a business coach, reside in St. Louis, Missouri. Teach a variety of art enrichment classes, teach personal development classes. I am a published author. What's your favorite barbecue? What or where has been your favorite barbecue place, and how do you like your sauce? How do you like your barbecue sauce? Right now I have Sweet Baby Ray's, because you can't go wrong. I have made my own sauce before. Not one of my favorite things to do, but I can do it. I like it on the tangier side. But I'm peeling potatoes. I got some carrots in my crock pot, because like I said, I'm trying to get out the door. I'm thinking, though, as I am doing this pulled pork shoulder roast, my favorite barbecue place that I have ever been, and I don't even know if they are still in business, really. I'm going to pull you a little closer. I feel like you went too far away. But there was this place in Nashville. We were on our way probably to Gatlinburg. That can be the only reason that we would have gone into Nashville. We were on our way to Gatlinburg, and we were both starved. And he had talked about how barbecue is so different in North Carolina. Well, I only know South St. Louis barbecue, where something is smothered in sauce. But there was this place in Nashville, right downtown Nashville, and we had to park a ways, because, if you've been to Nashville, you know how crazy it is and how busy it is, and the bridal parties and so on and so forth. But anyway, they had 3 different kinds of sauces. They had your typical barbecue sauce. You could get like a dry rub, or you could get a very tangy, what they call the Carolina sauce, which I really, really think that was my favorite. It has always been my favorite since I had that. My peeler all of a sudden doesn't want to work. On our way to Georgia, I think it was Georgia, we were going to Helen, Georgia, which I do recommend. It's a fun little, getaway if you're not afraid of heights or falling off a mountain. But anyway, there was this other barbecue place that was just, oh my God, it melted in your mouth. But what's your favorite barbecue? How do you do it? If you make your own, what do you put in it? Do you like it garlicky? Do you like it tangy? Do you like it a little bit on the saucy side? More hot and spicy? I have been buying at Aldi's. Let me finish doing this and I'll show you. I have been buying at Aldi's a pork shoulder roast, and I'm going to move you back because I don't want to be too close. I'm trying not to knock over my dog bowl. But I have been buying the seasoned boneless pork shoulder roast at Aldi's, and it's kind of a mesquite, and I don't care for the mesquite, but I like the cut of the meat. This is, turn it around where I can read it to you. It's $3.99. It is $1.67 a pound, and this was like almost 2.5 pounds of meat. And it doesn't cook down a whole lot because it has already been pre-seasoned and everything, so all of the fibers in the pork roast itself, it doesn't shrink. It's all plumped up. Sweet potatoes I'm going to throw in here too with some other potatoes. But anyway, what I do is I rinse off all the mesquite, mostly all of it, and then I douse it with my barbecue sauce, and then I let it cook for the longest time. When you are feeding a family and you are trying to make meals stretch, you know, and just because you don't like the seasoning that is on that cut of meat, but the cost is very affordable, there are ways to get around how it's already seasoned. But I have carrots in the crock pot. I was just wanting some good vegetables, and I was thinking about making mashed potatoes, and anybody who knows me knows I really don't like mashed potatoes. But at my second job, where I bartend for the banquet entity, oh my God, they have mashed potatoes that have cheddar cheese and bacon and, oh, I don't know, all kinds of goodness in it. And I thought, ooh, I could do that tonight. But then I'm like, no, I think I just want some crock pot potatoes. Sometimes when I'm cooking pork, I'll put apples in it, but I don't have apples. I think that's a southern thing, when you cook your pork with apples. And that's probably something I did in a previous life, and I still continue to do it in this life. I have some russet potatoes here. I had a golden potato. Like I said, I'm going to throw some sweet potatoes in here too. But I got to tell you what's going on with the car, because I know you're all just dying to know what is going on with the car. You know, I said the heat was out. The flaps, which I thought were not opening up enough. It would have air, but it would not allow for the heat. So I had the new car mechanic drive around with me so I could make sure I wasn't really losing my mind, because I feel like I'm losing my mind with this car. It's been one thing after another, although I love the car. It is a 2016 Jeep Patriot of the Latitude, the more specialty kind of Jeep, I guess. When I bought it, it had 96,000 miles, and it's barely 97,000 miles. I haven't gone anywhere because every couple of weeks it breaks down. Something always happens to it. So then I'm saying to the guy, while he's, with me driving in the car, reassuring I haven't lost my mind, I say, what is this vibration? Why is it shaking? I have never had a vehicle, never ever had a vehicle that vibrated and shook like this. And he goes, come on, let's drive a little farther. Let's see what's going on here. So apparently, and it's not rotors. He doesn't think it's rotors. And I knew it wasn't probably rotors because they changed out the brakes, the pads, and all the whatever before I bought the car, because the car had been a fleet car, so on and so forth. The Carfax, 4 pages of it is absolutely ridiculous, which the dealership failed to read it all to me. Anyway, long story short here, he says there's a sensor, most likely, that could be going out between your transmission and your engine. And I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? He says, well, when you go to put your foot on the brake, the car in itself is saying stop, stop. And the transmission is saying, no, go, go. And I kind of laughed because I was thinking about the last relationship I was in. It was kind of like I was the transmission and he was the brake. And, he said what's happening is it's a push-pull dynamic in the vehicle, and the vehicle in itself, the brain sensor, doesn't know how to respond. So what it's doing is, as one is going and the other one is trying to make it stop, it's creating this vibration. Now, when he was driving with me, he had said, I don't see any gauges going off the chart. He said, but I'll need to, hook it up to the diagnostic thing, so on and so forth. When can I drop it back off? And I'm like, well, I knew I had some things to do, and I had asked, is it, am I in danger? Is it like life-threatening? Is it going to blow up? Because, I'm trying to get out of town for a couple days later in November. And he goes, no, you should be good for another 100,000 miles. Well, I would hope so. It's a Jeep. A Jeep can be good up to 300,000 miles, provided the vehicle in itself is not a lemon coming from the car, manufacturer. But again, because it was a fleet and I am the 4th owner of this vehicle. So it's kind of like my hands are tied a little bit. I'll take it back in next week. I'll have him completely pull the dash off to figure out what's going on with the heat. He did ask if I had a warranty. And I had the original dealer warranty that the dealership opted not to honor. And I threw a fit about that and did everything in my power, and I'm just like, I just don't have it in me to have one more fight over this car or anything else in my world or life. So he said if I have my extended warranty, anything with the engine, the warranty should cover, which I do have an extended warranty, but I think my deductible on it is ridiculously high. And for anybody saying, well, why didn't I take it to a Jeep dealer? I'm sorry, are you on crack? Do you know how much, dealerships cost to repair your car? So this new place is over here on Gravois. And I'll give all that detail when I know what's going on with the car and if I'm happy with how it turned out. But the dealership in itself came highly recommended. But that's where I'm at with the car. That is where I'm at. Last week, Monday, I took my back room apart, getting ready to try to promote my art classes. Winter is coming. The restaurant will be changing hours. I have to figure out how I'm making up the difference. The banquet industry will slow down. I believe they are going through a huge renovation come February, if I heard that correctly. So it will be very, very important for me to get my classes all up and going again. And because I can teach out of my home, I'll do private classes. For the painting classes, I can probably have about 5 people here. And with the back room being now all clean and organized, and with the kitchen. I do plan to paint. I have a couple painting projects I want to do. Because, winter's coming. I have to find something to do. If I'm not working or teaching, I have to stay occupied, transmission. Keep going, because I cannot sit. The dogs right now don't know what to think with the weather fluctuating. It's actually pretty beautiful here in St. Louis. It's 60-something degrees. I do have the heat on, but the heat is really, it's like it's set on 70, 71, but it's warm. But the dogs didn't know what to think. With the temperatures dropping, they've been hiding under my blanket I bought for me. Really, really thinking about getting rid of that couch, having the kid kind of put it to the curb so the trash guy can take it. But what big things do you have going on, and what are you pushing, pulling, and fighting with? And is there a solution to whatever that dynamic is in that push-pull? We talk about family dynamics in my vision board class. It's a life coaching art class. Do you see a resolve? Who has to give in? Does anybody have to give in, or is there a compromise? Is it a constant, and are you looking for a result or an outcome that just is not feasible, and the machine and the mechanic in itself of the relationship is just not working, and there will be no resolve. It will constantly be a push-pull dynamic. When do you know to walk away? When do you know that this isn't working any longer? And when are you deciding, okay, you want it to work, but what measures are you going to have to go through in order to get it to run smoothly? Love to hear from you. kitrynmarie@gmail.com. You can always leave a comment below. I'm trying to get this last potato peeled. Christmas sale at work came out today. Here it's Halloween. I don't give candy out in the neighborhood anymore. There are not enough kids. Christmas sale, though, was really, really good. I'm going to try to figure out how to make a chocolate cake with it. Or even, I have some pumpkin spice, too, that I could probably do some muffins with. Trying to cook a little bit more, trying to make money stretch the best I know how to do. But how is the government shutdown affecting you in any way? Personally, it's not really affecting me. I'm a little concerned about the banks. I'm a little concerned about if there is not funding from all the things that are on a standstill right now. What is the residual trickle-down effect from it? You know, just because things look concrete, black and white, that doesn't mean that somewhere in the middle it's not going to have some huge fallout at some point. Alright, I'm going to clean up my little peels here. Wasn't sure if I even wanted to do a video today. Like I said, I wanted to get this done. I'm going to try to get out the door looking for some throw rugs from Five Below. I was going to try to go up on the hill. I want to get some more Gigolina cookies. I had gotten them from Ersie's Market a couple weeks ago. Oh my God, they were just absolutely delicious. Melt in your mouth, and those are my favorite cookies. Was telling the girl I work with, my Graham used to make them. They're the ones with the seeds, the sesame seeds. It calls for 8 eggs. I said by the time that I do this carefully, I got a big knife. By the time I get all the ingredients, it will cost a lot more than $8.99 to buy a dozen of them. Well worth it. Well worth it. Alright, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to rinse it. Because like I said, I can leave some of the mesquite on it, but I don't really like it. It's too much. It's overpowering. But because the meat in itself has been marinating in it, it opens the fibers where the meat will not shrink. And I love that. And even the kid doesn't like the mesquite. He prefers the barbecue. And although right now I am not able to travel, there is no reason in the world why I cannot be cooking like the way I eat when I do travel, when I am out of town. I don't know if I want to cut that hunk of fat off or I just want to leave it on. Sometimes you got to leave the marbling in there so your meat continues to be tender. I think I'll just leave it in there, and then when I go to pull it apart, shred it later. I have some good buns, but I think I will make an onion butter to brush on the top of them. Nothing is better than a good pulled pork sandwich on an onion bun. Oh my gosh, yummy, yummy, with some good carrots and some potatoes. What else did I see? Aldi's has their turkeys out. Not too bad. They're reasonably priced. Look into that $40 meal that you can buy at Aldi's. You can get your cranberries, your stuffing, and all the fixings. You can do a pie, pumpkin pie, and get your turkey. And there was a couple other things, all for $40. Okay. I'm just going to toss that in like this. And I'm not going to add really any water to this at the moment. Let that be nice and coated. Get the lid and put the lid on it. But that is what we are having and doing for dinner tonight. Very much thinking about that trip to Nashville and stopping and eating at that barbecue place because, oh my God, it was just fabulous. It was kind of, I wish I could remember names of these things, and I didn't take a picture of the place. I know I took a picture of the food, but it had barbecue sauces in different different squeeze bottles. There was like 3 or 4 of them. And like I said, I was leaning towards that vinaigrette, that real orangey kind of barbecue sauce. And I believe that's the Carolina barbecue sauce versus, here in the Midwest, you douse everything with regular barbecue sauce. I could have done, fried sweet potatoes, fries, and I'm like, no, I think I'll just do the whole baked thing because it will be really, really good with the sandwich later on tonight. The kid is working. I'm off, like I said, today, tomorrow. I want to try to do some deep cleaning. I had said to the kid the other day, where do you want to put up the Christmas tree at? Where do you want to put the tree? Because I'm already thinking Christmas. Although I don't know what my plans will be. Tentatively, we're supposed to go to my daughter's for Thanksgiving. That's kind of up in the air. It all depends on really who's all going to be there and if I want to expose myself to all that. But that is my issue, nobody else's. Christmas will depend on what day I'm off, what day I can take off. Last Christmas, I was not able to leave the job at all, and I was so strapped and so far behind. I think I pretty much was working 6 days a week last Christmas, trying to just keep head above water. Fingers crossed that things do open up real soon, that, level heads will prevail, and that we can kind of head into 2026, because before we know it, 2025 is going to be over and behind us. But we want 2026 to be a much better year than the past couple years that we are having to deal with. Emotionally, financial stresses take quite a toll on your health, on your, mental health, your clarity, the way that you look at things, the way you tolerate people. Let's just hope and pray that 2026 really yields us the things that we are all deserving for our hard efforts and work that we are putting into it. Getting a handle on our emotions, backing off from social media the best we know how, other than to use it for our work. If you would like to take a business coaching class, reach out, kitrynmarie@gmail.com. We can do a one-on-one here, or I can meet you someplace. If you're looking for a painting class, I can do it here, private class, or if you want a group class, I can come to you. I believe in the next couple weeks I will no longer be working on a Sunday night at the gig. So I have my Sundays open. What else? Oh, if you're interested in writing a book, I would love to be able to share my experience on how I put When He Had Her together, the formatting of it, the who, the what, the why, the how, the story, the antagonist, the protagonist, the crescendo, building up to the crescendo, and the storyline that makes your characters so fascinating. When He Had Her is available on Amazon. It will make a great Christmas gift for your favorite person who reads. If you're an avid reader, you can get through the book in about 2 hours. It is a novella. Been told it would make a great movie. Now, if I can just get Kevin Costner to read it, that would be great. But anyway, y'all stay tuned for this pictures later on for the pulled pork sandwiches. But I am Kitryn Marie, an artist, writer, speaker, live, and a business coach for today, for tomorrow. Be happy, be blessed, be thankful for everything. Remember, fate turns on a dime. It is up to you to decide what side of that coin you want to be on. I'm an open book. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe, all the good things that make the algorithms work in our favor. But y'all take care, and I'll see you soon.